I'm Mark Granite, this is Matt Trulio, and welcome to Doha, Qatar, the Qatar Cup 2015. Today's racing was absolutely fantastic. It lived up to all of our expectations. Matt?
I think it actually exceeded them. I think that everything they tried worked. Probably they'll have to do some fine-tuning on a few things, but by and large, it was an excellent two-race day. I couldn't have imagined anything better.
No, I agree. Sheikh Hassan and I made it out on the pace boat and got to see the racing live and up close. Peter Butler, why don't you tell us about the day's racing?
After dominating practice and pole position, the big question on everyone's lips before today's first race in the super light class is whether Victory Team 3 can keep the momentum rolling. After a drag race to turn 1, the question doesn't take long to answer. Leading after the turn, Dubai team go on to record a flag-to-flag win and put themselves firmly in the driving seat for Saturday's double points final. World Class 1 and ex-CAT champions Nasser Ben Hendy and Arif Al Safin are paramount these days, although America's Hulk team Rob Nunziato and throttleman Dan Lawrence pushed them all the way for a well-deserved second in this 10-lap race, made up of a long 9.6 kilometre first lap, followed by 9 7-kilometre laps. Making up the podium places, Abu Dhabi team, Fala Al-Mansuri and Rashid Al-Tayer are consistent, but never quite on the pace. Qatar's Mohammed and Nasser Al-Nasser climb from 5th at the expense of Grant Bruggeman and Gary Ballou in Smart Marine. They snatch 4th and almost catch Abu Dhabi team, both keeping themselves firmly in the hunt for the title. Jay Muller is 5th.
Thanks a lot, Peter, and what a great day racing that was, Matt.
Absolutely incredible, and you got a very close-up view of it, didn't you? Especially, tell me about the Super Cat Light race.
Yeah, well, the Super Cat Light race went off perfectly, actually. The start was dead straight. Everybody was right there along the side of it. There was a lot of anticipation with the Victory boat and some of the other competitors on how well they would do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think two things were proven today. One, the Victory team can adopt to stock outboard power. They prove that they can handle it.
Yeah.
And two, that the Americans, in the form of the Hulk, can keep right up with them, and did the entire race. I think I had them clocked at 10 seconds behind for almost every lap.
No, I agree with
changed.
you. No, I agree with you. And after talking to the guys in the pits, I think the whole team knows where and what they need to improve on to keep up and make up that difference. I mean, Victory led wire to wire, but that doesn't take anything away from the competitors behind. Abu Dhabi had a strong third, but the Qatar boat in the closing laps of the race just started to close the gap more and more and more. And after talking to the guys in the Qatar boat, they had a little bit of a fuel issue at the start. They weren't getting all of their RPMs. Once that freed up, they felt like they were going to be right in there. So I will tell you, Saturday's race is going to be everything that we expected, because the boats that are out there competing right now have seen where they need to improve on this very fast race course.
And the conditions couldn't have been better.
Yes.
Light breezes, very much a flat water race, but everybody proved themselves 100 times over. I'm very interested in seeing where this goes on Saturday.
Yeah, one of the interesting things that was happening on this race course was, as the sun was setting, it added one more challenge. There's a bright Arabian sun out there, and that reflection on the water gave a lot of challenges to making sure that you navigated the course correctly. So as you saw these guys coming around a very complicated course with lots of turns, right-hand turns and left-hand turns, you saw these racers having to position their boats perfectly to make sure that they kept a fast line through these races. And that only got more challenging as the next race, the Super Cats, came into play, because the Super Cats were now set up to run short and long laps. and doing that, higher horsepower and much higher speeds.
Well, you use the word complicated, and I think that's a perfect word to describe the second race, because you've got catamarans of 525 horsepower twins up to 750 horsepower twins. You've got 2 V-bottoms in there. So the parity scheme that they came up with, I know there'll probably be some racers who disagree with what I'm about to say. I think it worked perfectly.
Yeah, it did. And I tell you what, if you take a look at some of the racing that was happening today, and Peter, when you get a chance, if you could tell us a little bit about what you saw on the water today, I think you'll see it.
Supercats incorporate a multi-lap configuration to help the lower-powered cats and V-hulls enjoy equivalence. It turns out to be a super show the minute the green flag is hoisted. Spirit of Qatar 20, Aliar Nima and Billy Moore had claimed pole position on Wednesday and are not in the mood to be denied the sweet smell of success on home waters. They quickly take the lead. Their MTI finishes the 12-lap race 16 seconds in front of Outer Limits, Joseph Grove USA, winner of the Super V category. Kiwi crew, Wayne Bolden and Chris Hanley, Pro Floors Racing a third, with Jay Cook and Randy Swears fourth. Twisted Metals, Brett Firstman and Billy Gluck retire on lap 6.
Thanks a lot, Peter. I don't know if that's racing to me. There was deck-to-deck racing right there. The formula that they used to try and make sure that these boats ran close really, really worked. I'll tell you what, right from the start, you saw a couple of very interesting things. With the 2 hatches on the Outer Limits boat you saw actually popped up during the race. That's quite a challenge to start a race on there.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, I'm sure that Steve and Joe were on the radio calling back to their crew. But the race started off very, very quick with the Spirit of Qatar jumping out to a very, very quick lead. The boat handled beautifully. I mean, Billy and Ali really seemed to have a good handle on that boat. The American teams really came up to speed very quickly. You saw them push, but really, the shining horse of today, honestly, you looked at that New Zealand boat.
How about the team from New Zealand? Yeah,
my
that's
goodness.
I was hoping you'd
That
say something
boat,
about them, because
yeah.
they were the model of consistency today. They ran hard, they didn't lose ground, they were perfect through all the corners. You would have thought that they had every bit the power that the Spirit of Qatar 20 team did. They were right there. The other thing I found really interesting is that they've created, the Qatar Cup has created a system where a V-bottom can finish second place against a cat, and it's credible.
It's credible. You saw these guys racing. You saw everybody was pushing very, very hard today. That was the interesting thing. When you saw the New Zealand boat come out of the turns, the Pro Floors boat come out of the turns, he was actually accelerating with the Supercats.
Definitely.
It started to fall off as the Supercats started to gain the speed. Coming into the wind here, all the boats lifted up, and they got a lot of speed. Things were quick. One of the great sights to see in Qatar here was that the boats come around this south turn, drifting and sliding like we talked about the first day. It is an amazing sight to see. Big, large cats and V-bottoms sliding sideways to navigate through the start-finish line.
Just to amplify on that, you watch from Pace Boat, I watch from where we're standing right now, which gives you, when the sun is out, of course, gives you an absolutely perfect view of the boats sliding through that turn. And the ones that did it the best were the ones that came out with the best exit speed out of the turns. They were screaming.
Listen, that's a racing rule of law. Fast exit speed, get you on the podium. So what we'll see here for Saturday, they'll be testing tomorrow in Doha Bay, so everybody will have their guns out ready and making sure that their boats are as fast as they possibly can be. Saturday will be no different than today, just the stakes a lot higher. So stay with us, and we'll see you on Saturday.
It's going to be incredible.